Have you ever dreamed of doing something amazing, but then when you dig into it, you realize it's something you're not really that good at? And that would stop you from accomplishing your goal. What is that story you're telling yourself? And is it even true? Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel where you are what matters. Today we're going to be talking about limiting beliefs. These are stories that we tell ourselves about why we can't accomplish something, and a lot of times they're not even true. They're just some story that we picked up somewhere and we've had on repeat ever since. So if you like videos about stress relief, productivity, or motivation, now's a great time to go down and hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss a video. So, limiting beliefs. That sounds a little bit woo-woo for this channel, doesn't it? Really, it's just a fancy term for the stories that we tell ourselves about why we can't do something. A lot of these limiting beliefs were formed in our childhood when, let's face it, we were very impressionable, but not exactly living up to our full potential yet. For example, if an adult had looked at your artwork when you were, say, 5, when your hand wasn't even remotely finished forming yet, and said that your artwork was really bad and you shouldn't keep pursuing art, that might have left a lasting impression on you. Then you go forward in life, never bothering to try art again because you have this limiting belief that you are simply not good at art. I bet you there are a lot of people that have a story similar to this because when they were younger, a parent or teacher told them that whatever they were working on was not really their thing and that they should go try something else instead. It might not have even been a malicious or mean-spirited comment. It might have just been something that they said off the cuff and forgot immediately. But it ended up sticking with that child. And it's not just the little ones that are affected. I can think of 2 examples as late as high school. One being an art teacher that would never ever give me good marks on paintings or drawings and said that it was basically not my thing and I should move on with my life. And also an English teacher that implied that writing was never ever going to be my thing. It took me years and years and years and years to stop believing these stories. Honestly, I had internalized these stories so much that I got to the point where I didn't even realize they didn't start with me. These ideas about whether or not I was good at art or good at English came from other people, but I didn't even realize that until I thought really, really hard about why I never gave those things much of a chance. And now here we are. I draw for fun and I have written thousands and thousands and thousands of words on my blog as well as had articles published across the internet. Both things with lots and lots of positive feedback. Now, I'm not sharing this stuff with you to toot my own horn. I'm sharing this with you to show you that I carried this stuff around with me for decades. Yes, I am that old. Decades. And for what? They weren't even true, and they stopped me from doing the things that I want to do for so long, simply because I believed that they were true, so why would I bother? And I'm willing to bet that you have been trucking along a lot of your life dragging some sort of similar baggage behind you. So let's dig into how you're going to start cutting the ties to these limiting beliefs so you can set yourself free. The first step in this whole process is identifying your limiting beliefs. Now, it seems like they ought to be pretty clear, but you've probably been saying them to yourself for so long that you think they're part of your identity. Think about it this way. Have you ever had to sell your house and move? You go around maybe and clean up some and freshen things up a little bit, and then you have your realtor come over so they can take a look at what you've got going on and tell you what else needs to be done before you're ready to sell. And then it hits you like a ton of bricks. You stop seeing that spot on the ceiling or the crack in the front door. You don't even realize how much clutter you have, and now you've got to get even more stuff out of your house. All of a sudden, you're looking around and you see the piles of paper and the dust everywhere. This is what it's like to find limiting beliefs. They've been floating around your head, stopping you from doing the things that you want, and you're so used to stepping over them that you don't even notice that they're there anymore. One way to uncover your limiting beliefs is to take a look at your current life and compare it to your dream life. What stories are you telling yourself about what you can and can't do that are preventing you from moving in the direction of your goals? If this still doesn't make it clear, pick a goal. Any goal, doesn't really matter, but start making an action plan around how you would get to that goal. What on that list starts to make you nervous because you feel like you can't do it? Did you even finish your action plan, or did you get stuck on one step because you don't have the time or the money or the resources to get to this goal? Those are your limiting beliefs. Now, I'm not saying that not having the skills to do something is a limiting belief. If you want to start a business and you don't know anything about business, then yeah, you're probably lacking some skills. However, if you also believe that you can't acquire those skills, then there is a limiting belief there. It's that willingness to give up on something right away because you don't have something that you need to accomplish those goals. Now that you know what some of your limiting beliefs are, it's time to figure out how we're going to separate those beliefs from who you actually are. So the first step, pretty much always, is self-awareness. Now that you know what limiting belief that you have, it's time to go and look for some evidence to the contrary of your belief. Sounds complicated, but really it's very simple. For example, let's say that you don't believe that you have leadership skills, but your manager is always putting you in charge of special teams. That is evidence to the contrary of your limiting belief that you are not good at leadership. Or in my writing example, even though I had already written dozens and dozens of posts for my blog, I still had the limiting belief that I was not good at writing. But then I started doing guest posts, and then those guest posts were well received. This was the social proof that was contrary to my limiting belief that I was not good at writing. Even if you have 1,000,001 reasons in your head that reinforce your limiting belief, like in the boss example, that your boss is desperate, or everybody's short-staffed, or all of the leaders are bad, so you're the best of the worst. These are all potentially stories that you are making up. It doesn't matter how many stories you make up in your head. If the outside world is reflecting that you are good at that thing, you should believe them and not these stories that you have on repeat. The next step is to flip the script. Now that you've seen some of the places where you've succeeded and other people believe in you, it's time to change the way that you think about success. If you have limiting beliefs in a certain area, it's likely that you believe that all of your successes are the flukes and that the failures are the norm. So it's time to turn that thinking around. People with really strong limiting beliefs will convince themselves that if they've passed 9 out of 10 tests, that the 9 they were just getting lucky, and the 1 proves that they're totally incapable. Successes prove what you are capable of, and failures should simply prove as a learning experience. In a lot of these beliefs, luck doesn't even play a part. It's not luck that a drawing turns out well. It's not luck that a blog post resonates with people. It's also not luck that the whole team followed your lead, or that your clients love you, or even that your cake turned out great. These things don't take luck. You can't just take all of the ingredients of a cake and pour them into a bowl in any order and expect the cake to turn out right. Believe me, I've tried. So start taking credit for your successes instead of for your failures. Look at your failures as learning experiences instead of expected experiences, and stop blowing off your successes. Okay, the next step is acting as if. No, not acting as if. This isn't Clueless. Acting as if is the idea behind the horrible, horrible phrase, fake it till you make it. Can we please stop saying this? There is no faking a skill you don't have. I couldn't fake my way through an engineering exam, or a motorcycle driving test, or a coaching session in Russian, even if I wanted to. What I can do is push forward with the more confident side of my personality while I'm giving speeches, or to be more outgoing in social settings. I'm not asking you to lie on your resume to get that promotion. What I am asking you to do is to consider, what would someone who really wanted that promotion do in order to secure it? Would they apply Would they contact their referrals or a mentor to discuss the opportunity? Would they network with the management that is going to make the promotion decision? Can you do these things even though it might seem like it won't matter? Can you act as if you are the type of person to do these things? Because if you do that long enough, it will actually become part of who you are. Seriously. If you do something long enough, it becomes a habit, and habits help define who we are. For example, if in meetings when the leader asks if there are any volunteers, you normally hide and shrink and hope to not be chosen, then it might be time to force that hand in the air. Every time you do that, it will become easier and easier to the point that you become the person that volunteers for projects. You started by acting as if you were the type of person that would volunteer for special projects. And you became the type of person that volunteers for special projects. If limiting beliefs stop you from doing the things that you want to do, then acting as if is the opposite of that. It gets you to do those things that you normally wouldn't do by changing the way you are in situations where the limiting belief would normally stop you dead in your tracks. Okay, question of the day. What is one of your limiting beliefs and how are you going to smash it dead in its tracks? Let us know down in the comments so that we can cheer you on. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go down and hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. If you're interested in more information about this topic, go ahead down to the show notes and I'll have a link to an article that I wrote about it. Also, there'll be a link to my 5 Days to Less Stress program, which is a free email series to help you figure out all of the things in your life that are stressing you out and how to get them off of your plate. There'll also be a link so that you can get on my calendar so you can have your free call with me and figure out whether life coaching with me is right for you. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. One way to uncover your limiting... If this still doesn't make it clear, just pick a goal, any goal. That what I was doing was actually, I don't know. It isn't... Oh. Or to be more outgoing in a social person that would volunteer for special blog posts resonates with someone. One way to uncover your limiting